One visible sign that sets Muslims apart is women covering their faces. Do you accept that the full veil, the niqab and the burqa make it well nigh impossible for the wearer to play a full part in mainstream society?
Well, Henry, first of all, there is almost largely consensus that niqab, which is the covering of the face, is not an obligatory requirement. And
no, I understand that, but do you accept that those who do it are cutting themselves off from mainstream society?
Some Muslim women, a very small minority, do. And also, whilst wearing niqab, many of them are also working in various walks of life successfully. That's a choice that they make, and they see it as a faith requirement. But as I said, it really is red herring in the sense that it applies to such a small number of Muslim women.
Well, but it seems to be a growing number. And for many Muslim preachers, isn't separation precisely the point of the niqab? As Sarah Khan says, they preach that Muslim women should be removed from the public sphere.
No, certainly not. If you look at the Muslim women in the public sphere, we have many very successful role models.
Yes, but not the ones who are veiled.
Maybe not in the public arena as such, but we do have hijab-wearing women. As I said, Henry, that veil is a practice which is practiced by a very small number of women. Do you favour it? I personally do not think it's a requirement at all.
Now, I understand it's not a requirement, but do you think that women should wear the veil?
I think it is wrong to force anyone to wear veil.
I didn't ask you that either. I'm just saying, in your opinion, should they wear the veil?
It is wrong to force anyone to wear the veil.
I'm not saying you want to force them. I'm asking, do you think they should, of their own free choice, should they?
If they, in this country, if it's not interfering in a lot of individuals do a lot of things out of their free choice, which I don't approve of, which I don't think it is conducive for, it helps their cause. But I do not have the right to take the choice away from them.
That wasn't what I'm still unsure if you think it's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, are not many Muslim women in this country being encouraged or even forced by Muslim preachers and often their male relations who want to keep Muslim women in their place?
As I said, it is wrong for anyone to force any Muslim women to
But how would we ever know in a family? How would we know if someone's husband or brother wasn't forcing the woman to wear?
Exactly. We don't know what goes on in people's homes and what sort of pressures are applied on people to do all sorts of things, you know.
Well, we know what a number of preachers are saying. I want you to look at this picture. It's very popular on Islamic websites up there. And it shows the woman is wearing the niqab, having a straight route to heaven. And the one who isn't, the other Muslim woman dressed in more Western gear, is condemned to hell, the fiery doors. Do you consider that a proper message for young Muslim women?
Not at all. I don't consider it.
You don't think that should be shown?
No, I don't think that's a proper message at all.
So any Islamic websites in Britain
none of our
that?
Muslim Council of Britain is an organisation of 500 affiliates from north to the south across the country, and this is not coming from any of our affiliates. So as I said, those very minority views propagated by individuals here and there should not be used to actually represent Muslim community.
That would not have the support of the MCB?
That would not have the support of the MCB, clearly.
Does the Madani Girls' School in Tower Hamlets have your support? It requires girls as young as 11 to wear a black burqa outside school. It says, quote, it's the desired dress code of a Muslim female. Do you agree with that?
As I said, all the schools have their uniform policies, and faith schools' uniform policies reflect some of their faith practices. So I'm not sure exactly what the policies, but I said...
Well, I've just told you what it is. Do you agree with the Madani Girls' School that young girls as young as 11 should wear a black burqa outside school?
I don't think black burqa wearing of the veil should be, as I said at the beginning, should be imposed.
But this is part of the dress code. It is the desired dress code of a Muslim female.
And
do you agree with that?
All the schools are regulated by regulatory...
But I'm asking for your view.
As I said, I've given my view. I've said it at the beginning that I do not think that it should be imposed.
No, but I'm not asking
the will
I'm asking if you
any girl to
would you send your daughter to a school that made her wear a black burqa at the age of 11?
Madani Girls' School.
Would you?
I wouldn't, no.
I mean, it just seems when you see all these cases that some Muslims, particularly some Muslim preachers, are determined to segregate young Muslim girls right from the start, at a very early age from society.
It's not their segregation as such. I would say that there are faith schools. If you look at Tawheedul Islam Girls' School in Blackburn, which is a faith school, girls' school, Muslim girls' school, set in very traditional setting, it has actually come top of the league table this year in the secondary school league table.
Yeah, but it has
that is quite an achievement.
It also has a strict
many of those
dress code, but it doesn't make 11-year-olds wear burqas.
But many of those girls go on to make a very successful career and
not
work in all
wearing
walks
burqas.
of life. As I said, I'm sure there are examples of many Muslim women. There are very few, but those who do, they actually have successful careers.
The Deobandi movement, it's a very conservative movement from the subcontinent on Islam. It now controls over 40% of British mosques. They issue fatwas, legal judgments, supposedly based on Islamic law, on their websites. Here are some of their recent judgments. Let me show you this one. A female is encouraged to remain within the confines of her home as much as possible. She should not come out of the home without need and necessity. What do you say to that?
We need to see the whole context of that quote. I mean, in what context that quote has been actually laid out.
Well, it's pretty clear. It's saying that women should not be allowed out, that should stay in the home as much as possible. Do you agree with that?
I think the Deobandi school of thought is very much prevails in the city I come from, Leicester, and there are many, many mosques. And I see many, many Muslim women who are walking out.
Yep.
They are
but this is what the mosque is recommending women do.
So again, I don't know the context because practice is quite the contrary.
Well, let me show you another one. It is generally impermissible for a woman to travel a distance of more than 48 miles unless accompanied by a male relative, even if the purpose is to attend a religious gathering. Another fatwa from the Deobandi mosque movement. Do you agree with that?
Some of these, I think, have been picked out. I don't know the full source of them, but they've been picked out from material which may be dating back to different cultural settings. And in practice, they are not practiced and applied.
This is advice being given as we speak now.
As I said, this may be advice given, but the practice, these are not being practiced because
no, but do you agree with that advice?
No, I don't agree at all.
So if you don't, why? And these are from the Deobandi mosques.
Yes.
If you don't, how come 72 of these mosques are affiliated to your council?
But as I said, within those mosques, there may be publications from one of their scholars which may have said this and may have been published. But they have been quite often translated from, said in countries abroad and translated.
But this is advice they're giving to young Muslim women now. Advice from mosques that are affiliated to the Muslim Council of Britain. Now, do you ever speak to them about that?
Muslim Council of Britain is a very broad-based organization. We have all different schools of thoughts. We are actually working on lots of common issues on which we work to create a community which positively integrates, which positively contributes.
Did you ever speak to them to say, look, this is not appropriate advice for British Muslims?
Within personal practices, there may be certain advices or publications available, but people make their choices.
So it's okay for mosques affiliated to your organisation to issue fatwas like that?
We have been working on standards for our mosques, for our organizations, and many of these things will fall under that scrutiny.
Why don't
and I think we need to create that.
Why do only 26% of British mosques have facilities for women?
Well, mosque, if you go back to Islamic requirement of prayer, while it was obligatory for men to come out and pray in mosque, it was not obligatory because of certain other commitments that women have. So when mosque began, very poor community putting up their mosque at the beginning in terraced houses, in mill towns.
They could do it now, couldn't they?
Yes, many, and as a result.
So did you have a policy to encourage them?
Of course, yes.
Is that on your website?
It is our policy to encourage all.
Is it on your website?
It's not on our website. Oh. Our practice is that MCB has got a quota of 20% of its national council to be women, to be female.
You see, coming out of this Deobandi movement, there's a kind of conscious stream of superiority and separation between Muslims and non-Muslims, or kuffar, as apparently they're known. Look at this quote from Riyad ul Haq. He's a well-known Deobandi preacher in this country. It is generally impermissible, sorry, it's coming up. We are in a very dangerous position here. He says, we live among the kuffar. We work with them, we associate with them, we mix with them, and we begin to pick up their habits. That's what he wants to stop.
That is a scholar's view. I disagree with that. We believe that we live in the society where minority and Muslims present in any society of the world, and Muslims historically have lived as minorities in many, many countries. Muslim, when they went as minority to
so you would disassociate yourself from that?
I would.
And the council?
The council's practice is completely contrary.
So why do you allow people like that to have mosques that are affiliated to you?
People are entitled to view, but mosques which we affiliate, the requirement is for any organization, a mosque to be affiliated, is that they are registered charity, they are bound by Charity Commission's rules and regulations.
All right.
We only accept those as members who are under the law of this country, are legitimate bodies.
But this isn't a matter for law, this is a matter of taste.
It's a matter of practice.
Which you don't seem to be doing anything about. Let me move on to an even bigger issue. In 2009, the MCB signed the Istanbul Declaration. It advocated attacks on Jewish communities around the world. Do you still support the Istanbul Declaration?
No, we never supported Istanbul Declaration, and Muslim Council of Britain never signed Istanbul.
One of your leading lights signed it.
What a member in his individual capacity signed, who signed his declaration, and he actually, in the media mainstream, defended his position that he did not, that declaration did not condone.
So you've disassociated yourself from it?
Yeah, we completely did.
So what's wrong with the Istanbul Declaration?
I think I'm not sure about Istanbul Declaration because we disassociated on the basis that we did not sign.
You disassociated yourself before reading it?
No, we did not sign the declaration. So
you've not read it?
I've read the Istanbul Declaration, but I can't recall completely exactly all the aspects of that declaration. But what I would say is that at the time, within the national newspapers and media, there was a discussion, debate, and the person who signed also highlighted and said that that was not what was meant by the declaration.
For how long has the MCB disassociated itself from the Istanbul Declaration?
From day one. MCB.
Well, it can hardly be from day one. Your representative who went to Istanbul signed it.
MCB never signed Istanbul Declaration.
All right. Well, the East London Mosque, which you personally and the MCB closely associated with, it's also the venue for a number of extremist speakers and speakers who espouse extremist positions. This year, Shakil Beg, he spoke there and he hailed jihad as the greatest of deeds. In 2009, the mosque hosted a video presentation by somebody described by the US security as an al-Qaeda supporter. You had another speaker there who in the past had described Christians and Jews as filth. You've had a jihadist supporter of the Taliban there. Why do you do nothing to stop extremism, extremists like that, at this mosque with which you're associated with?
We have no truck with extremism or with terrorism.
So why don't you stop it?
Or any rhetoric which condones or supports violence.
So why don't you stop this?
We have issued guidelines, and mosque itself is a registered charity which has its own rules and regulations and procedures, but it's a very large mosque where lots of organizations book and come and hold their gatherings. They rent out the facilities, but mosques have done their own.
You were prepared to speak alongside a man, Qazi Hussein Hamed, who saluted suicide bombers and said that 9/11 was not Osama, it was a Zionist conspiracy. Why would you share a platform like that?
I don't think I shared platform, but
no,
nevertheless, that's different organizations hold lots of different conferences here. There are many members MCB has.
So why did you agree?
I do not agree with that particular view.
No, but you were prepared to share a platform.
I completely reject that view.
But you were
not in what context I shared the platform, but I completely reject that view.
Now, when you add all this up, it's my final question. The attitude to women, the alliance with the most fundamentalist of Islamic mosques, the toleration of intolerant views, a willingness for you to be counted among them. Why should anybody of goodwill, either a Muslim or a non-Muslim, regard the MCB as a force for good in our society?
MCB is a the largest umbrella organization, which represents all different organizations, which are our affiliates represent
No,
a
we know
whole
that.
cross section of the Muslim community. I think what you've done is taken snippets of certain individual views. They're not the views of our affiliates, and it will be unfair to represent MCB's view based on those which you have highlighted in this particular program. As far as MCB's views and positions are concerned, and the work that we do is quite clear and is there on our website.
They're all associated with you, but we have to leave it there. Farooq Masadva, thank you.